Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for holding this hearing. Secretary Taki, three intelligence contractors named HBGary Federal, Palantir Technologies, and Berico Technologies have a proposal under the name Project or Team Themis. Are you familiar with this proposal that has been purportedly made by those three firms, all of which are defense contractors? Are you aware of that proposal that was leaked from the HBGary Federal emails, which would offer the counterterrorism and intelligence techniques to prospective private parties, i.e. Bank of America, U.S. Chamber of Commerce, for use against critics of those firms? Are you familiar with that situation?
No, sir, I am not familiar with that specific proposal. So, we're happy to take that for the record and gather that information and be able to get back to you on it.
Well, now it's been about 2 weeks. I requested that information. Do you know what has happened to that request and whether or not it's being complied with, or there is an intent to comply with it?
No, sir, I don't have that information. I wouldn't want to give you something that was incorrect. I'll make sure that my office takes a look at it and that we get right back to you on it.
Now, it's my understanding that the firm HBGary Federal had developed malicious software that allows users to monitor the networks and computers used by third parties. Is that the kind of capability that they have provided to the Department of Defense?
Again, sir, I'm not familiar with that company. So, again, my staff will definitely get that information and make sure that we get right back to you.
Yeah, if there is a misuse of properties of the Federal Government paid for by citizens of the United States through their tax dollars, i.e. tools to disrupt foreign intelligence, foreign terrorism, and if that technology is used on Americans, would that be a breach of the contract between DOD and any particular contractor? Are there provisions in the contracts that prohibit such use?
Again, I would need to go back and take a look at that specific instance and get that information back to you.
You do agree that that is a problem, that we should not use taxpayer-funded techniques on taxpayers who may disagree with a private domestic business entity?
Well, we at DOD are concerned with any breach to our networks or any risk to the security of our information. And
Yes.
we take that very seriously. It's a major part of the way that we construct our technology. And so any breach of that type is of paramount concern to us.
Well, if the same technology used by the Department of Defense to protect its own internal security, cybersecurity issues, if that technology were used to do the reverse to a private citizen of America, that would not be a proper use of the DOD techniques, would it?
Well, again, any breach And any malicious software or hardware or any breach to DoD information
Well, no, I'm not
is
talking about
extremely
DOD
important.
information. I'm talking about DOD information being used against American citizens for the use of private entities.
Again, I'm not familiar with any particular instances of that. Certainly, if there are areas that we can research and take a look at, and we'd be very happy to do that and get back to you.
Well, again, I would like to request copies of any and all contracts between the Department of Defense and the three subcontractors, or the three contractors that I mentioned, HBGary Federal, Palantir Technologies, and Berico Technologies. Would you be able to provide me with that information, and also the chairman of the committee?
I don't have that information directly myself, but certainly, again, I'll have staff research that, and we'll get back to you with an answer to that question.
Well, I think it's a very important issue that I'm not planning on sweeping under the rug. I want to at least get those contracts and analyze them to determine whether or not they have been used or they have been breached. So I need that information.
Yes, sir. We'll, again, we'll have my staff research it, and we'll get back to you with an answer.
Thank you. Anything you can add, Ms. McGrath?
No, I do not have my own self-familiarity with the proposal nor those three companies. Certainly, the contracts have written in accordance with the Federal Acquisition Regulations, and we'd have to look at those the scope and conditions of each one of those to ensure that there was not a breach of contract. But I do not see an issue with complying with your request to have copies of those contracts, and I'll ensure that Ms. Takai has all the support she needs to get those.
Well, Mr. Kai, I tell you, while I was asking you some questions out of the corner of my eye, I saw somebody come up and give you a note, and that's always kind of arouses my curiosity. I won't ask you what's in it, but I am concerned about this case and the way it's being swept under the rug. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, Mr. Conaway.
Recognized for 7 or 8 minutes. Excuse me.
Depends on how good your question is.
Exactly. Well,